Israel has declared war with Hamas after unprecedented attacks.
The House Speaker spot is still vacant as pressure builds to fill it.
And today we celebrate National Indigenous Peoples Day.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV News at Noon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining ntTV News at Noon. I'm Grace Escobar.
And I'm Sydney Jolivet. Israel has declared a state of war after Hamas militants from Gaza breached the border in a surprise attack. The U.S. Department is working to confirm reports of Americans killed or missing from the attacks. CNN's Rob Kirkpatrick has the story. We want to warn you, some of the video shown is graphic and some viewers may find it disturbing.
After an unprecedented attack by Hamas on Saturday. Israeli officials say more than 600 people have been killed and thousands more are wounded since the attack. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says Israel has the full support of the United States.
President Biden's direction was to make sure that we're providing Israel everything it needs in this moment to deal with the attacks from Hamas.
Israel continues its military response, destroying around 800 targets in Gaza, according to authorities. Near the Gaza border, Israel is now evacuating communities to get their citizens out of harm's way as they begin military operations.
Israeli military is united, ready on all fronts. Also, we've ramped up our defenses in the north. We've mobilized reserves. We are motivated to defend our country.
The Israeli Defense Forces say more than 1,000 Hamas fighters poured into the country on Saturday. Hamas also captured dozens of Israelis, holding them hostage, as well as some Americans, Israeli officials say.
I think it's scores of hostages. I can tell you there's also American hostages as part of that number as well. I don't want to get into a specific number, but these are women, they're children.
The IDF says it will exhaust all options to get the hostages back.
What I can tell you is that we're not going to stop until we exhaust every means possible of doing so. We will not leave any person behind, and we will do anything to make that happen.
I'm Rob Kirkpatrick reporting.
A small community in Ukraine is currently dealing with a tragic loss in what appears to be the deadliest Russian attack on civilians in more than a year. Officials announced at least 51 people, including an 8-year-old boy, died in the missile strike Thursday. This attack comes as U.S. funding for Ukraine and congressional support begins to diminish. CNN's Emily Schmidt reports.
As difficult as it is to find a way over the rubble in the village of Rosa, it's even more difficult to comprehend what happened here. Some graphic images are blurred, though the intent, a U.S. retired general says, is clear.
It's punishment, pure and simple. It's the Russian way of war.
A Ukrainian official says people had gathered in a cafe for a wake for a fallen soldier. He'd previously been buried in the city of Dnipro, but his relatives wanted him reburied in his hometown village. Then a missile hit, officials say, killing the soldier's son, his wife and mother, and dozens more.
Russia does this every day in the Kharkiv region, and only air defense can help.
Ukraine's president advocated for more air defense support from the West. It's not a new request, but he's facing new obstacles to get help from Washington.
Congress needs to act.
The U.S. has sent Ukraine about $113 billion in aid. The Pentagon says money for Ukraine is running low. Essentially, about 2 months of funding remains. No Speaker of the House means there's no way to approve $24 billion the White House wants for Ukraine, with members more divided than ever.
If you can tell us what the goal is, how's the money being spent?
We have to support Ukraine because if we don't, it's going to be a very big problem for all of us in the near future.
This attack happened about 25 miles from where fighting is taking place, showing how much is on the line, even when it's not the front line. I'm Emily Schmidt reporting.
The GOP is racing to find a new House Speaker after Kevin McCarthy's historic removal last week. House Majority Leader Steve Scalise of Louisiana and Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan are the two candidates hoping to replace McCarthy. Scalise and Jordan will make their pitches to fellow Republicans at a closed party conference today. There will also be a candidate forum on Tuesday, followed by an internal election on Wednesday. It is still unclear when the full House floor voting will happen. It is dependent on whether moderate Republicans can rally around Scalise or Jordan, who come from a more conservative district. Former President Donald Trump has announced his endorsement of Jordan, who plans to address the government funding decline at the forum. The urgency to elect a new House Speaker grows as the U.S. comes to the aid of Israel following the attacks by Hamas. Grace, I truly cannot get over how good it felt coming into the studio this morning.
Yes, Sydney, I know what you mean, but you can't get too comfortable because you know how Texas weather is.
That's so true. Let's see what our weather anchor Sydney Johnson has for our upcoming temperatures. Sydney?
And good afternoon, Mean Green family. Really quick, we have a look at our current conditions outside right now. We're looking at a temperature of about 68 degrees. The sun is still shining very brightly, warming us up to about feeling like 72, and we have wind speeds of 3. Now we're going to take a look at our conditions later tonight. The cooler temperatures are going to continue into later today. We're looking at a temperature of 61. It will feel like 60. We have high wind speeds of around 8 miles per hour, getting more of that chilly weather into our environment. Look at tomorrow's temperature, what we have to look at tomorrow. It's going to be a little bit hotter at 87. Our sun is still shining pretty bright. It will actually feel like 87. Those winds are starting to pick up at 13 miles per hour. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Sydney. The union president for United Auto Workers, Sean Fain, says they have reached a major breakthrough. An agreement has been discussed with the 3 big automakers, Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis. The agreement concerns the future of auto jobs.
We were about to shut down GM's largest moneymaker in Arlington, Texas. The company knew those members were ready to walk immediately. And just that threat has provided a transformative win. GM has now agreed in writing to place their electric battery manufacturing under our National Master Agreement.
The automakers have not responded to Fain's comments. The announcement suggests the nearly 3-week-long strike could come to an end soon.
Coming up, more about the student organization that's in charge of hosting the free and fun events at UNT.
And if you're planning a trip to the State Fair this year, we know a place you won't want to miss.
Did you know you have access to video equipment like DVDs, video games, and cameras? That's right, you do. Come on down to Chilton Library and fulfill your media dream. Located on the bottom floor next to the student sculpture. Hope to see you there soon. Hey girl, you know you look good. I like the way you move and groove. I'm not sure.
It is officially State Fair season, and you know the Texas State Fair has many fun exhibits, activities, and foods for our fairgoers to enjoy.
Our live shot reporter, Paisley McGee, is out at the State Fair right now to give us an inside look at what there is to do. Paisley?
Thank you, guys. Here at the Dallas State Fair, thankfully there are no lions, tigers, and bears. However, there are baby chicks, baby goats, and pregnant cows that both parents and adults both parents and children can enjoy and come out and look at the Encore Petting Zoo. This petting zoo and birthing barn is located right behind the Cotton Bowl Stadium and is open every day from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. And be sure to tune in for our Texas State Fair show on October 16th, which will be live from Fair Park. I'm Paisley McGee signing out. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Paisley. It looks like you're having a great time. Now, Grace, this weekend was the first weekend in a long time that it actually felt like fall.
Yes, and I'm crossing my fingers that this weather is here to stay.
Definitely.
Sydney Johnson has the forecast for this week.
Thank you, Grace. And I think we can finally say that it is fall. Of course, Texas can always pull a fast one on us with its weather, but we are finally starting to get down to those 60s, albeit still the high 60s, but we're there. Over here in McKinney, we're looking at about 61, so it's starting to get a lot cooler in the surrounding areas. Fort Worth and Dallas are still sitting in the 70s, along with Stephenville. And then we have Graham, Bowie, and Gainesville and Sherman hitting the high 60s and low 70s. So now let's go ahead and take a look at our weather across the state. Amarillo over there in the corner is getting a little bit cooler, around 66, as well as Austin at 61. Abilene sitting in the same area as those. Oklahoma City and Shreveport we still have in the low 70s, but the entire area is finally starting to cool down for fall. So now let's take a look at what we can expect this week to look like, weather-wise. We're still looking at some warm temperatures. The sun is shining very brightly most of this week. On Thursday, we're getting up to about 90 for our high. There are a bit chance of precipitation for a couple of these days, as you can see, so just make sure that you guys pay attention to your forecast and take a rain jacket and an umbrella if needed. That's all I have for weather today. Thank you guys, and back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Sydney. You may recognize today being Columbus Day, but more importantly, people are celebrating today as Indigenous People Day. It is a way to honor the Navajo code talkers who helped the Allies win World War II and those who helped Pilgrims survive harsh winters. Columbus Day was originally a way to honor people already living in the country when Christopher arrived in 1492. Thousands of landmarks with names given by Indigenous people can still be found across the U.S. today. They really have left an important mark in American traditions and culture.
Numerous events are put on across campus, from karaoke night to trivia game show night. These events are organized by UPC. Events are put on to entertain and engage students. These events are orchestrated by UPC.
UPC is the University Program Council. We put on free events for students by students. We do about 180 events a year, I would say, ranging from movies, Build-A-Bear events, concerts, karaoke nights, anything you can imagine UPC does.
UPC plans every event a semester in advance. When planning events, UPC turns to their team members for ideas.
We ask them in our weekly meetings like what events they want to see on campus or like their friends want to see on campus, and we take a bunch of suggestions from them, as well as our social media comments. We have a lot of people DM us saying events that they would like to see on campus, and we like to listen to those because we want to put on events that our students will actually enjoy.
UPC is split into 8 different committees, with an executive leading each one to focus on cultivating a team environment.
That's one of the reasons why I wanted to become an exec. Was last fall semester I was in the films committee as a member, and I just really enjoyed that time, having the team aspect and having a team there that I could work with and focus on and planning events and things like that. And so I wanted to give that back to my committee. So when I became an exec, one of the first things I was like, okay, what can I do to make my committee more involved and get them into the nitty-gritty of planning these events and give them that space to do that.
UPC is made up of a 100-person member board with applications opening every fall and spring semester. For North Texas Television, I'm Grace Escobar.
Plans for a new multicultural center here at UNT have been put on hold.
And a new music station aimed towards students has come to UNT's radio station. More when we come back.
I did it again.
1, 2, 3. It's okay.
You're right, Mom. I have.
Hey Alex, this guy on the internet says he wants to give me money.
That sounds suspicious.
What do you mean?
Typically, strangers who promise you money on the internet have their own best interest in mind. They often use bounce checks, which will disappear shortly after depositing, but not before they've asked for some money in return.
So he doesn't really want to spoil me?
No.
Well, then what should I do?
The best way to handle it is to block and report the suspicious message, or even consult local law enforcement if you've already fallen victim.
So I guess we aren't going to Key West for spring break.
No.
nt's plans to build a multicultural center are once again on an indefinite hold. The plans were first announced in March 2021 and submitted to the city earlier this year. However, issues with the contractor and city have caused the process to stop. Contractors were not able to provide a construction bond. This would protect UNT if the contractor was unable to perform the agreed job. After a new contractor is picked, it could be weeks to months before construction is started. On top of that, the city of Denton plans to reverse the flow of traffic at Union Circle, where the building was going to be constructed. Then, students wouldn't have to cross the street to access buses. While the halt in construction is disappointing, UNT states they are committed to providing a space where all of our students' needs can be met.
Do you still listen to the radio? Well, Denton has a new station called Mean Green Hits. On Friday, a launch party was held to celebrate the station's opening and College Radio Day. Mean Green Hits is broadcasted from the University of North Texas and features hit songs that Gen Z and millennials are sure to recognize. The station hopes to feature student-made music in the near future.
Grace, you know what I could have really used this morning?
What?
A nice warm cup of coffee.
Yes, that sounds so good, and you are in luck, Sydney, because our segment anchor, Macy Terry, has just the place for you. Macy?
Thanks, guys. With the weather finally getting cooler, you're gonna want a nice hot drink. Our coffee is one of the best coffee. Wait. Thanks, guys. With the weather finally getting cooler, you're gonna want a nice hot drink. Our Coffee is one of the best coffee shops in Denton, and it's located right on Fresh Street. They have several drink options perfect for everyone. I went to the shop to see what was in the coffee beans. Our Coffee is located on Fresh Street. They serve delicious coffee, and they're sure to have one perfect for you.
My name is Brooke Hosey. I'm a barista here.
Aura strives to make sure they offer an environment enjoyable to everyone.
Like a more laid-back, relaxed vibe, somewhere where anybody can feel like super comfortable.
The menu is sure to be a fan favorite. They offer a variety of drinks.
Our full menu, we of course have pumpkin spice. Everybody loves it, so we always do it. You know, it's a crowd pleaser. We also have a chili vanilla syrup right now, which is just like a spicy vanilla. It's really good in hot chocolate or mocha. And our third special right now is a brown sugar spiced fig syrup. It's delicious.
Aura Coffee also has a really cool thrift shop located right inside. They are partnered with a local thrift store to offer this cool
So when we can, we like to try to have benefit menus. So like we will choose a local organization that we, believe in, I guess, cause-wise, and donate usually like $1 from each drink to that organization.
If you want some coffee. The coffee there is so good. I think I'm gonna have to go back soon to try out that brown sugar fig syrup. Now back to y'all at the desk.
Thank you, Macy. Sydney, I don't know anyone who wants to talk about anything except for how good this weather has been recently.
I know I don't want to talk about anything else. It is time for a change in scenery, finally. And speaking of, our sports anchor, Omar Martinez, is live at the State Fair of Texas to give us some insight on all things sports. Omar?
There's no harm in wanting to have fun while in college, but it's easy to lose track of how much you've had. Apps like Drink Control and Alkadroid can help keep track of your consumption and blood alcohol levels. If you or someone else does drink too much, the signs of alcohol poisoning are as follows: pale skin, vomiting, confusion, low body temperatures, irregular breathing, blacking out, and is hard to wake up or cannot be woken up.
Dude, are you okay? Hey, what's wrong? Wake up.
It's an exciting time of year, but it's important to be responsible. If you suspect someone is suffering from alcohol poisoning, get help immediately. You will not get in trouble for seeking help if you are underage. For more info and resources, go to UNT's Division of Student Affairs.
It's October, it's the Cotton Bowl, it's the Red River rivalry, and it's our neighbors up north that get to wear the golden hat. Both Texas and OU came into this game undefeated, with Texas ranked number 3 and OU ranked number 12. And it's OU's quarterback Dylan Gabriel who showed out, throwing 285 yards and 1 touchdown, while also carrying the Sooners' run game, rushing for 113 yards on the ground and a rushing touchdown as well. Gabriel drove the Sooners to a 75-yard game-winning drive in just over a minute. OU has himself a quarterback and a Heisman contender at that. The Sooners are now ranked number 5, while the Longhorns plummet to number 9. And then from UT, we go to UNT, a team that is nowhere near the ranks, as the Mean Green lose in their first AAC conference game. North Texas came into this game with an even record of 2-2, finding themselves in the middle of the AAC standings. Facing fellow AAC team, Navy. Navy came into this game 1-3 and an easy first conference challenger for UNT. And well, the Mean Green, well, they came up just short, 27-24, making them fall in the standings as they now have a losing record in conference play. UNT's schedule only gets tougher from here, so this loss stings as Navy's one of the worst teams in the conference. Hopefully they can flip the script when they play Temple next week. And now to the most embarrassing Texas sports team loss. The Dallas Cowboys get demolished 42-10 in prime time as they face the undefeated San Francisco 49ers. Dak Prescott stinks it up, throwing 3 picks, and the offense in general was just garbage as they didn't get a first down until their 5th drive. And the defense wasn't better, as I think the defense and the offense had a bet of see who could be the worst, as the defense led up 421 yards of offense. Well, at least we have the Rangers who are doing good, and well, that's all for me here at the State Fair of Texas. I'm going to get me a turkey leg or something, so I'm taking it back to the studio.
Wow. Thank you, Omar. While there may not be much to celebrate in the sports world, Albuquerque is definitely celebrating with their balloon fiesta. They're decorating the sky with beautiful colors and paying homage to New Mexico. Stephanie Munoz has the latest.
Bright headlights and red taillights lit the path into Balloon Fiesta Park. The first event of the day, a drone show with 500 drones, shaping an inflating hot air balloon, even showing the burner, and of course, what New Mexico is known for, Route 66. Before the sun rises, Dawn Patrol fires up the burners, and the first hot air balloon is off. It's the cherry on top balloon from UNM, the turquoise, cherry, and silver balloon, flying the American flag over the Mexico sky. Then the moment everyone waited for, mass ascension, hundreds of balloons painting the sky full of color, and the special shapes getting everyone's attention. Fan favorite Arabelle, the creamland cow, slowly filled up. Sleepy Arabelle finally waking up and gliding through the sky. Flying conditions have to be nearly perfect to safely fly the 10-story high balloon. And the slow breeze making a perfect chance to splash and dash. Clusters of balloons fighting for a piece of the Rio Grande. Eventually, everyone taking a landing spot in the North Valley, wrapping up the first weekend of Balloon Fiesta.
Grace, that definitely was an array of beautiful colors. What was your favorite float?
I loved the cow float. I just thought it was so fun and very unique.
I think the Yogi Bear was pretty cute too.
Oh my gosh, it was so cute.
And it's definitely on my bucket list. I'm afraid of heights, but you know, you gotta try something new, and that is just too beautiful to pass up, truly.
It would be such a cool experience.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for watching ntTV News at Noon.
Join us again tonight at 6 and tomorrow at noon here on North Texas Television.